It's Time Podcast. I'm Raya, that bitch is Kaylee, and welcome to the show. It feels really weird doing this in the morning.
Yeah.
It's freaking me out.
The daytime.
It's the morning.
We used to do it in the morning all the time.
That's true.
How weird is that?
We used to wake up, and that's how we'd start our day. Yeah, we usually, have a full day and then come together and shoot, and I'm, still kind of waking up a bit.
I feel like my eyes are a little heavy
I'm
still.
Let me drink some of this matcha really quick,
I fell asleep on the couch last night. My phone was dying when I woke up. Forgot to set an alarm. You texted me pretty shortly after I woke up, leaving in 5. I was like, okay.
Oh, shit.
Alrighty then.
No. So,
woo!
We are still in our travel series right now. We are in theoretically, we are in our fourth country.
5th episode, 4th country.
Yes.
Right?
So,
pretty sure.
If you haven't noticed, we are wearing our England jerseys, which if you've been listening to the travel eps, you kind of heard in our London episode, our whole thing about finding jerseys at Camden Market and all that.
We knew we wanted these little jerseys.
We wanted these jerseys so bad. So we got these are the jerseys they wore.
We got the new kit.
The kit.
The updated.
We should have wore the shorts that came with it.
We should have, actually. The shirt, it's all youth size.
Yeah.
And the top fits quite nicely. The bottom, you can tell it's a youth. It's a youth.
The youth. So, in honor of today's episode, we are wearing our England jerseys. But it's funny because today's episode is actually Edinburgh, which is Scotland.
But it'll all make sense.
But it'll all make sense once we get there. Yeah.
So, hell. Where did we leave off?
We always leave off at
the
we
airport. Talked about yep.
So, where we left off, London. We had that morning in Richmond. We had a cute little day. Yes. And then go to the airport. It's night. It was a night flight, so we were getting into Edinburgh.
A night flight. We got into Edinburgh late.
Pretty
we landed at 11 or 11:30.
Yeah, the airport was pretty dead. Not too many people on the bus going into town. Wait. Yeah. I'm thinking of the right thing. And then, where the bus drops you off,
ooh.
Edinburgh is a very hilly, starry city.
Hilly and starry.
It's a small town, so you can get everywhere pretty quick, but there's hills, and there's cobblestone everywhere. Everything is cobblestone.
Everything.
Which is, the most beautiful thing ever. It's so gorgeous. The buildings are beautiful. But when you have luggage and shit, and you had just been traveling, it's not the best.
Yeah. But it was really beautiful when we pulled up. It was so picturesque because it's dark outside, but the castle and the museums and everything are all lit up.
Yeah, that's true. Everything was lit up.
It was super cute when we pulled up, and then we had to lug our suitcases up this big
because it wasn't
hill.
Where the bus drops you off. It was the closest station to where our hostel was. So it wasn't that far of a walk.
It really was not. If we didn't have suitcases, 7 minutes.
NBD.
But we did have suitcases.
We did.
So now it's 12:30 in the morning, and we're sweating through the streets of Edinburgh.
We're lugging these suitcases up this cobblestone hill. It's
and there's a few drunk college kids walking by,
having the time of their life, and I'm oh, okay, this is gonna be
we're gonna
this is gonna be a good time. But it was pretty dead. There really wasn't anyone on the street.
I think we literally saw maybe 3 or 4 people.
Yeah. But we get to our hostel, and oh my god, it was kind of the perfect place to stay.
The hostel, 10 out of 10 would recommend.
So great.
It was called Castle Rock, and it was literally at the bottom of the castle.
Literally,
right off the Royal Mile.
The top of the hill. The hill.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the hill, but there's a hill where the castle sits on, and then the whole town is right under it. It's it felt fake. I don't know. It felt like a fucking Disney movie. It kind of those little royal towns.
And I will say the bummer is during the summer they build this little stadium arena thing right outside of the castle for these military event things, and then they do concerts and stuff.
Go Royal Navy.
But Go Navy.
Go Navy, go.
I would imagine if that wasn't there from our hostel, we probably would have had like a little bit of a view of the castle too.
I think so too.
Really cool.
But you'll hear in a bit why it was so cool that the stadium was there.
Yeah.
So it ended up kind of working out. But we get to our hostel and check in. It was really cool. It's like you can tell that, I feel like this is the case with a lot of hostels, like real hostels. All the people that work there are like these traveler nomad-y types that just are from literally all over. No one's from the same place. Mm-hmm. And they all just, you work at the hostel because you get a place to stay. Yeah. It's so cool. Like I would totally do something like that. It's like,
that would be sick.
Really, really fun. It felt really safe. The hostel did.
It did.
And it was all like, it was only like 18 to 40. So there wasn't, it was like a very specific age range. Mm-hmm. It was themed, like castle themed.
Which actually was super cool.
Medieval castle themed, not like the Edinburgh castle really. But
they
it was
had
really
like
funny.
Carpet that looked like stone flooring and suits of armor.
Carpet is probably the dirtiest thing in the world.
Oh my god, yes. But then the rooms are like
what was our themes?
Ours was
each
Indiana
bunk
Jones
had like a theme. Oh yeah.
And you had,
who did I have? I don't remember, but it was
I remember mine being better than yours.
Oh.
I was Indiana Jones.
She has to turn everything into a competition.
Who, me?
We really never crossed paths with our roommates. So it was we chose an all-female room, only 4 bunks. And when we got in, it was so late that our roommates were like, it was dark and they're asleep. When we get in the room, it's like flashlights on our phones, trying to like get settled in and change.
Trying so hard to be quiet, but we know like we're being loud.
We're being loud and waking them up.
Not being loud, but like zipping and unzipping things, and
But then it's like, well, you're in a hostel. You really can't pick and choose how your roommates are. So that's kind of just like what comes with it. But then in the morning, they were packing up and leaving and woke us up.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
So it was even.
But we literally never even spoke or like crossed paths. And then we had a new set of roommates the next night, and we also never spoke to them. Mm-hmm. Not
purposely.
It's
just
purposeful.
When you're not somewhere for a long time, it's like you're not spending time in your room, you know?
Yeah.
You're only there for,
I feel like you'd have a better chance of vibing with your
2 nights.
hostel friends in like the common areas than you would necessarily in the actual room. Because one, you're really never in the room unless you're doing a long haul stay. We were literally in Edinburgh for 2 days. We literally were never in the room except to sleep.
And change our clothes once.
Like, we were never in there. So, yeah. But we weren't there long enough to, like, enjoy the common spaces or anything. But we
didn't even look at them until our last day there. Yeah. They were so cool.
Yeah. And, like,
they were
packed,
themes.
Too. Yeah. When we peeked in, it was like, everyone's in there hanging out. Like, oh.
So fun.
This is so fun.
Yeah, I think we looked into one, and you literally went, oh, so that's how you make friends.
Yeah. Well, because it's like, I mean, later on in the trip, though, or in the trip overall, we had met a handful of people who were like, oh, yeah, this is, like, people that we met at our hostel or whatever, and then you go out together with them. But it is hard when it's 2 days.
What's so crazy is later in Dublin, I'm sure you'll hear more about these girls, but we met these 2 girls that literally stayed in the same hostel, and they also went straight from Edinburgh to Dublin.
Yeah, that's weird.
So we must have literally just missed them. Small world.
So yeah, so first night, obviously we didn't do anything but go to bed. Get up the next day. We really only have 1 full day. And then the next day, we had a flight, like, in the afternoon. So we had, like, a day and a half.
Yeah, our flight was at, like, 6 or something.
Which, like, was a good amount of time. We saw the entire city of Edinburgh. I mean, I'm sure there's so much we didn't see.
We didn't have a car or enough time to, like, really leave the most central.
The central city.
Part of the city. Yeah. So, I mean, you can even see from where we are. Like, there were places where we were like, oh, what's that? I wish we could go there.
True.
But we didn't have time to explore that widely. But if you're staying, like, just right in the thick of everything, a day and a half is plenty.
Oh, yeah,
enough
you can
time.
do. I mean, like, the Royal Mile is the main street, and it's a mile.
And it's a mile?
You can do it. But our first official day, it was going to be a great day. We had exploring to do. We had a castle tour later. And then that night, the Euro finals, which is our jerseys. So
come on, England!
To come. Like, I just feel like we knew, like, oh, like, today's going to be a good day and tonight is going to be so fucking fun. Like, we just knew.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, there was just this feeling, like, we're going to make friends, we're going to meet people, we're going to flirt, we're going to, like, I don't know. You could feel it. It was going to be a good day. And it was.
That's another great thing about, like, football culture over there.
Yeah.
It's like...
She means soccer for the Americans.
You go
Don't
to...
get it twisted.
For the Americans.
For the Americans.
God,
not us.
Not like football.
Not us, because we're not American.
No. No, we're not. I just feel like it's a guaranteed good time. You go to a match and, like...
Yeah, it is. Well, and tangent, but last night we went out to this bar and there was an American football game on. And, I was literally sitting there like, if this was fucking soccer football, this would be so fun. Like, we'd be having so much fun.
Yeah.
And then it's just so American. Everyone just kind of sits there in silence.
And, like, yeah.
And then it's like, down, 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 down.
Yeah, like, the typical, like, American
crazy.
band
it
music.
Feels like dystopian almost. It does feel dystopian, actually.
Actually, let's take a poll. Let's research this. I bet somebody has taken a poll somewhere.
On the thing.
Like, I want to know how many Americans actually, like, enjoy and partake in American football culture, because I bet that percentage is minuscule compared to football in other countries.
Well, think about like,
oh my God,
who is the most followed person on Instagram? Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh,
He has
David
he has
Beckham.
like 600 million like followers on Instagram or some shit like that. Like, Americans are so in their bubble that they don't realize like how much more massive the scale is. Like, the most popular sport in the world is soccer. Like, World Cup is the most watched sport on TV. Like, it's...
Yeah.
American football doesn't even come close. Well, actually, the Super Bowl is, like, the second. But... but it's different because the entire
world... I'm there for the bean dip, okay?
Here in the commercials.
Anyways, tangent, so...
Yeah. Anyways. So
we know we're going to have this amazing day. And our castle tour was at, like...
3. It was late.
Yeah, it was
late, but it was only a 30-minute tour. So
mid-afternoon.
It was an easy.
It was 3 because the timing of when we want to leave later. So we're like, okay, well, we'll just go explore everything else,
which is so fun.
Beforehand.
That's like that works so well for us. Honestly, we love having planned things mixed in with these like blocks of nothing but
of just
walk
wander
around, and then whatever happens.
Yeah,
and then that always leads to us. I mean, this is part of this morning story, but like. The Frankenstein place, for example.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was on our list anyway. But when we're wandering...
I think we're good at that. We just stumble upon the things we wanted to do.
Oh, and this is Victoria Street. This is the famous street we wanted to see.
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, it might be a little easier in a smaller town like Edinburgh, but...
Yeah.
But still.
Not so easy in, like, Paris. But, yeah, so we... woke up and we wanted to go to breakfast, and we literally, like, 2-minute walk from where we're staying. The cutest. I can't remember what it's called again. Deacon something.
It was one of those things where, like, yeah, we want breakfast. Let's just see what we come across. And like she's saying, it's literally right down the street. We barely walk at all. There's the menu on this wall and then an alleyway. And we're like, okay, well, for one, this looks cute as shit.
So
let's just go here.
So freaking cute.
And you literally walk down an alleyway, which Edinburgh is literally...
Deacon's House Cafe.
Oh, nice. Edinburgh is literally just one big block of alleys, basically.
Yeah.
Wait, what did they call them there?
I can't remember. Quay. Key. It looks like Quay, but it's pronounced Key.
Key, like the sunglass
Yeah.
brand. Yeah. Key. So we walked down the Key.
That was good. We didn't even have to Google it.
Yeah, so we go down this cute little alleyway, and then it leads into these like outside seating, and there's like a little inside, and like where the back of the alley is, where all the seating is, it's like open air. So like it was just the cutest, most picturesque little cafe.
And again, we just stumbled on it, and it's actually like this really old, historical, well-known place.
And the guy I don't know if he was the owner,
manager
or something
I don't know.
like that, but he like instantly just, I don't know, everyone's just so, it's not like, oh hey, how many?
Yeah. Here's
it's like,
table.
It's like, oh, like you're a human, I'm a human. Cool. Like,
let's connect.
Yeah. It's just like everywhere you go, it's like that. I don't know. It's just different. So we sit outside because if there's an option to sit outside, we're always going to sit outside. Why would you sit inside? That's weird. And we go like order and we get classic. We have to get like the classic things. We're like, let's get a scone. And the guy's like, do you want cream? We're like, should we get
do cream? We want cream? And he's like, you want cream?
We're like, okay. We go sit back outside. We're vibing. We have, like, our drinks, our scone. Mm-hmm. The fucking, what are they, pigeons?
I think they were pigeons, yeah.
The pigeons there are different. They're
different so breed. Intense.
And this wasn't just in Edinburgh. It also happened in Dublin. They're, like, the most aggressive birds ever. Like,
they're very
not
bold,
afraid to get in your face. These birds, like, I just assumed if we're sitting at the table, they're not going to fuck with us because we're here. No. They jumped on the table.
On the actual
while
table.
we're sitting there. It was, like, the most alarming thing. There were a few people who moved, like, inside, I think.
Yeah, because they couldn't handle
it. And then if people had left, handle it. If you leave your table and the food's there, oh, my God, it's like a feast for the bird. It is, and it's pretty alarming, actually. I don't know.
Those birds are eating good, though.
They are. I mean, fair enough.
But breakfast was really yummy.
Oh, God, it was
so wish I got the avocado toast because the lady next to me, I didn't want to get it because I was like, that's so basic, whatever, you know.
So American.
So, yes, that's what it feels like. So LA.
Yeah, but it's over there, too.
Oh, my God, the lady next to me got the avocado toast and it looked phenomenal. Phenomenon. What we really need is a feminine-omenon.
The manager guy is, like, French, and he's like, there's this group of, like, French people, and he's, like, talking to them in French, and then he comes back over to us, and we're like, so where should we watch the match tonight? I think we said game, and then we were like, oh.
Sorry, match.
Sorry.
Well, we had already asked the people at our hostel, too, and they gave us a list.
It's just one of those things that's places. Fun. Like, I want to ask everyone I see. One, it's a topic of conversation. You can talk to someone. And two, I want to know from all the people that live here where they would go. Where
the locals going to be.
Yeah. Because obviously we want to go wherever the locals are going to be. So we say where the locals are because it's like the most touristy town we've ever been in. It's like once we left the cafe and walk out to the Royal Mile, like with all the shops, what the fuck? It was literally the most busy, hectic street, all tourist. Every other store was what are those called? Gift shops.
I can't imagine what it's like. Like, I don't think summer is probably their peak.
I don't think so either.
Tourism time. Like fall. And I mean, I actually imagine winter would be pretty busy too.
It's like a Christmas town.
I mean, it was busy, but I imagine it just only gets busier.
Yeah. I mean, people go to Edinburgh for the vibes in the fall. Like, that's bucket list. Like, anytime I see a clip in the fall in Edinburgh, I'm like, oh my God. The things I would do to fucking be there with the leaves falling. And
I don't love the snow, but I would love just like one little snowy day there.
But it literally looks like Hogsmeade when
it's snowing. You can hear the music.
It literally looks like that. Yeah, literally. Yeah, so we didn't want to like necessarily go to a bar on the Royal Mile where all the tourists we didn't want to
do a touristy thing.
Yeah.
And the hostel girl and this guy both recommended one
of the same place.
Yeah. So we knew we wanted to just like walk by it later and check it out. Yeah. But we just wandered down the Royal Mile. Stopped in shops, at a few places, like watched a street performer.
Shops.
So many gift shops.
So many street performers too. It was
we stopped and watched this one. Like he was just gearing up when we got there.
It looked intriguing.
It did. And he had a like great fun performer personality, so we just stayed there for probably 30-45 minutes while he like really got into his act. And he like climbed this pole that was held up by people in the audience and swallowed a sword and juggled. It was,
very talented. Wonderful show.
Very, very talented.
People, I think, underestimate street performers. Just because you're not paying to go into a theater to watch someone perform doesn't mean they're not capable of doing just as good as the people inside the theater. So, and we'll talk about that more in Dublin, too.
Well, and these people also have to, like, rein in their own crowd.
Yeah.
That's so much
You have to be so good harder with people to do that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
My social anxiety could never.
You
don't want to watch me? That's fine. Okay.
Sorry, I don't want to even bother you.
You're
probably going to hate it anyway.
Disrupt you.
But yeah, it was so fun. Like, I just think we have a good time. Just like, I don't know. I
love that we do that. We literally just wander and we stumble upon things. And
we literally, we wanted to go find Three Sisters, the bar that people were recommending, to check it out and see what the vibe was like. Took us a little while to find it because there's like levels to Edinburgh.
And you look on a map and you're like, 5-minute walk or whatever, but
we're like,
and then you walk in that direction and you're like, well,
we're literally going in circles. Like, it says it's right here, but right when we like walked up to it, we were like, this is the one. This is where we're spending the night.
This is where
we're going, which is so crazy how meant to be everything is. Because the people we met that night, that was so just like, wow, what a great night. That was so meant to be.
Yeah, no, you walk up to this bar and there's a huge, I mean, you walk into the outdoor space before you even walk in.
Yeah, it's like a giant outdoor space.
Actually, when we first went and looked, I don't even think we went inside the actual bar.
We didn't.
This huge outdoor space with like a food truck and a big screen and then like lots of TVs all around and probably like 3 outdoor bars, tables everywhere, and we're
drink
like
specials on the board.
Yes.
We were like, this is the one.
Oh, they had great names too.
Yeah. So we were like, okay, perfect. One, we know where we're going. We know what the vibe is going to be like. Now let's keep wandering. Yeah. And this is when we like randomly run into, Frankenstein's right there. Is it called Frankenstein's?
It's called, Frankenstein's Pub, I think.
Yeah. Bar. So it's like there's a little show.
It was on my list of things I wanted to do. We went during the day, which I don't think was as cool. I mean, once you're inside, you can't really tell that it's daytime, but it's weird to like walk out of the daylight into this dark bar. Yeah. And then
it's not
when you're all done, you walk back out.
It would be so fun, like in the fall, like it's raining and like
oh my god, and everyone's
dark
just super
outside,
into
and then you run
or
inside,
it's like
and
storming outside.
Oh my god, see that?
That would be so cool. And there was all different kinds of levels. I think because it was the daytime, like there was lots of areas that were closed off.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. It's that, you may have seen it. It's that bar where Frankenstein like literally rolls out of the ceiling and then drops down.
Yeah.
And they call it a show. We were like, well, are we going to stay here if it like doesn't happen for a while? And he was like, oh, the next show's in like 10 minutes.
The next show's in 10 minutes. We were like, oh, okay.
He was cute.
The bartender was cute. The bartenders are so cute over there. Well, I think I have a thing for bartenders.
Yeah, I think you do too.
But baristas too. It's that type.
It's a very specific energy.
Flirty, they're flirty jobs.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I want to flirt too.
Yeah. I'm into it.
Okay, I'm into it.
Sign me up. Yeah, so we went there. We had a pint. We watched the show. But it's actually a really cool bar if you're into just like spooky monsters stuff like we are. It was very like Universal Studios
very
vibes.
Universal Studios, yeah.
Actually they should do that. But yeah, it was super cool. And then we walked back outside into the daylight and we were like, oh, this is weird.
And it was pretty much at that point time to go to the tour.
But before we went to the tour, we did go to Victoria Street, which again was on the list. Mm-hmm. But we just ran into it, and we were like, "Oh,
that's the thing with Edinburgh. Really,
this is where we wanted to go.
It's literally all right there.
Yeah,
it's hard not to miss.
Hard to miss. Unless it's on like a different level, and you don't know how to get to that level.
That's true.
Yeah, Victoria Street is like their really famous touristy spot. It's known for like.
Bless you.
That's where J.K. Rowling like started writing Harry Potter.
Bitch.
We don't like her. But we do love Harry Potter, and there was like little Harry Potter.
She's not gonna ever ruin it for us.
Little Harry Potter stores. There was one that every time we walked past it had a line, which is crazy. Yeah, we just like wandered up and down that street, and then we went to our tour. Yes, that was the timing because we went up these stairs to try to get back to the top, and it spit us out kind of by our hostel. So instead of walking into the castle straight on,
like from the Royal Mile.
Yeah, from the Royal Mile, we were like kind of down below it where our hostel is. So we had to take these separate stairs up the side. And as we were walking up the stairs, I could hear my favorite song from the Harry Potter soundtrack.
Sing a clip. Let's go.
I can't.
Yes, you can.
No. It's called Leaving Hogwarts. You can look it up.
Have you heard of it?
It's a very emotional song. Okay.
You would know it if you heard it.
You would. No.
Oh, we got a little clip.
So we're walking up these stairs and I'm like, wow, they're really like buying into the Harry Potter stuff here. That kind of surprises me. Like,
we literally thought they were playing the Harry Potter soundtrack over the speakers at the castle as like a tourist.
And I thought that was strange.
Like if I was at Universal Studios or something.
Literally.
Like, oh, okay.
And then we get to the top and we're like checking in at the first security thing and there's like the house banners hanging. And I was like,
it's like an amusement park.
So they are really just that into it. Like I'm still confused at this point. And then we walk in and remember there's this big like amphitheater set up for their summertime shows or whatever. And on the stage, well, on the big screen, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is playing and on the stage is like a live Symphony warming up for their show later. Like, they're gonna do the live
fucking insane to walk into the amphitheater with the castle behind it with that happening. It was
with that song,
crazy.
with that fucking song.
It was crazy. It felt like it was for us. Like,
it really did.
Oh, they planned this out.
I literally have that song on a playlist called Words Can't Describe how the song makes me feel, and it's very emotional. So to hear that in person in Edinburgh, like, with the move, it just was like, it was a lot. It was very emotional for me. I cried a little bit.
And then we went to like check in for the tour, and they were like, "Oh, you're early. Can you guys just hang out?" Sure.
Can I stand here and hang out while the movie's playing and the symphony plays?
We literally just stood there. It
literally just felt like fate.
It was crazy.
Felt like it was meant to be. Like, they did it just for us.
Yeah, because it's not like we couldn't go to the show that night because we had plans anyway. So it was like we got our own little show. It was so perfect.
It was so perfect and special and magical.
Yeah. Imperfect and special and magical. Yeah. And then we went into the tour. The castle, like, when you go into the castle, like, it's grounds. It's not just one castle. There's, like, multiple buildings. It's this huge grounds. Huge campus. And it's, like, I knew the castle was on a hill, but it was up on a hill. Oh, my God. I guess all of, like, Edinburgh.
Is that what Ed Sheeran's song is about?
Did not expect Ed Sheeran to be brought up. But it's like I didn't realize, because we literally took the bus into Edinburgh and never saw outside of it. So when we were up on the castle grounds looking out, then I was like, oh, whoa. Like, I didn't realize how much of that part of the town is, like, up high. Yeah. The whole town.
The whole thing.
Because when you're looking out and then you can see the ocean. Is it the ocean? It's not the.
I don't know. I'm gonna be wrong.
It's an island, so isn't it technically all of it an ocean around?
I don't know. You're asking the wrong girl.
Okay, well.
I gotta look at a map.
It was the sea. Let's just say that. We, like, met with our tour guide, had our little group. Of course, we had to be at the front of the group the whole time.
Always.
Because we have to be next to the tour guide, always. 1, I want to be friends with the tour guide. 2, I want to hear everything and ask questions. Sorry. I'm a nerd. I like history. It's my favorite thing. And I love tours. I love a tour. I love a tour.
She does love a tour.
Like, oh my God, that's, like, my favorite part of traveling. Like, I want to go to a museum or a historical place and take a tour. I could do that every day of my trip. I would be so content.
Yeah.
You liked it too.
No, I do. I love tours. Yeah. It's just cute how, like, you get very into
really into it. I don't know. I just really love history so much. It, like, makes me emotional.
And I love a tour, but she, like, nerds out for a tour.
I know, it's weird.
I think that's the like, difference in it. So it's like, she gets there and she
I know, like, my energy changes.
Yeah,
and I, like,
it totally does.
Like, I don't know, I get so excited. And I love all history, but for as long as I can remember, I've had an obsession with the UK and the UK's history overall, but specifically Scotland. I don't know if, like, I was Scottish in a past life or, like, went to Scotland in a past life. Like, there is some tie that I have to Scotland that's weird. Like, I don't know. I mean, Scotland is a very mythical, magical place, so maybe there was some type of, like, energetical. Is that a word?
Energetical.
If it's not a word, we should make it one.
Energetic.
I like energetical. That's a fun word. It's a very energetical culture. So I'm just obsessed with Scottish history. It's the most, like, tragic history. It's crazy. Everyone knows. I don't have to explain that. But, like, for one, Queen Mary is my favorite royal of all time. I'm obsessed with Queen Mary. Like,
see, this is what I mean. She brought up Queen Mary, and I was like, Queen who?
But you know, Queen
and she's
Mary.
Like, but Queen Mary, but Queen Mary.
It's like,
she gave birth in this room, and I'm like, whoa, cool. Who's
we're
that?
Walking around a place where Queen Mary once stood. The tour was pretty short.
It was literally 30 minutes.
It was a 30-minute tour, but then, like, you could stay for as long as you want and walk around, and there was, like, self-guided areas,
which I actually think was very well done.
Yeah, it was actually nice. But at the end, he was like, if you go into that room, you could see where Queen Mary gave birth, and I literally about shit myself.
She did.
Was like, oh, fuck. Like, you're saying, I'm going to start crying. Like, you're telling me Queen Mary gave birth right there? That is
That's a tiny little room.
Insane. It was half the size of the room we're in right now. I don't know. There was some energy in that room. I just stood there looking at it.
Yeah, she's more in tune to that than I am, but I actually fully agree. Yeah.
That's I'm not just making
that
stuff
up. Can be pretty lost on me sometimes, or I'm just like oblivious.
The whole grounds were energetically.
Yeah.
Energetically.
Well,
that's the word
energetically,
I was thinking of.
Yes, energetical.
Energetically is the word I was thinking of.
Energetical.
Energetically, okay. So we did that. Then we went to the like castle prisons.
Mm-hmm. Which
we love a prison.
Too. Yeah, especially that one part where you look down. You couldn't go in it, but you looked down and it was really dark.
Wasn't that like the solitude dungeon or something? Where Oof.
I don't know, like solitary confinement.
Yeah,
they were pretty nice dungeons, I will say. Like,
but imagine though, in prison, like you're not in the cells. You're with 20 something people in one room.
Remember the food they were given?
Yeah, it was depending on like your heritage and status or something.
I think it was just
heritage.
Like where you
If you were Scottish, you got more bread or like whatever it was.
Bread, cheese, and mead, right?
Yeah, mead was like. It was like a right.
Yeah.
Just as food is.
Yeah, you had a right to your mead.
Just as food is, mead is a right. The Scottish got that right.
Yeah.
They got that figured out.
Damn straight.
This is a place where at one point people lived. Like this was a real life place. And now it's a tourist attraction with tours and people taking pictures. But someone still lives there. The mayor. Yeah. I don't know if that's his title.
Was either the mayor or the governor. I can't remember what he was.
Yeah.
And he's got like just a little parking spot. He like just pulls up the freaking
where everyone is. It's not like a private area.
Yeah, the tour guide was like, sometimes he'll come home and there's just people hanging out right outside of his house, and he chats them up.
Yeah, he was like, beware, because you'll never get out of there. He's gonna want to talk to you.
He sounds cool though, like, and the tour guide was like, actually, we're all really like bummed he's about to retire, and like. Oh, you know what was crazy about this castle though? So it's never been.
It's never been.
Sieged? Conquered. There's 7 gates.
You keep talking.
I think I'm gonna fact check. There was 7 gates, if I remember correctly, and no one ever made it past the 5th. The 5th gate is like actually still pretty early on in the grounds. So you get to where Harry Potter was happening, and then you cross this little bridge. Like gates 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are all in pretty quick succession. What?
The rock that the castle sits on.
Yeah.
Is called Castle Rock. Our hostel was called Castle Rock.
Yeah. So, back in the day, when people would try to conquer this castle, they were like just known for their insane defense. And you literally get past a certain gate, and this one had a special name, and I could not for the life of me remember what it was. I tried to Google it earlier, and I couldn't find it.
Whoa.
But basically, between the 4th and the 5th gate, I think, it has this special, like, scary, deathly name because once you get trapped in between the two, they just start, like, throwing stuff from up above.
Like, they trap you. That's crazy. Yeah. They're like, oh, you
it's got like a death trap.
That's not what it's called. I was going to say that's what it was.
That's it.
Wait, this is crazy. Just listen to the sentence. Research undertaken identified 26 sieges in its 1100-year history, giving it a claim to having been the most besieged place in Great Britain and one of the most attacked in the world.
Whoa.
One of the most attacked places
and it was never conquered. How crazy is that?
Crazy. Oh, and it's a volcano.
I think he mentioned that.
Did he?
But yeah, I found that part to be so interesting. And it's never been conquered, but it had been turned over.
Yeah, they had what's that called? What's that word?
I can't think of the proper word. Oh.
It's in like sports when one team
offsides
forfeits.
Oh.
That's not the right word though. Forfeit? They forfeited?
No, it's not forfeit.
That's not the word, but they did. But yeah, it's just crazy walking through those gates and him being like, yeah, like the amount of soldiers that tried to get in here but didn't, meaning thousands of people died in this spot, basically.
Yeah, in that one section in between the 2 gates in particular. Like so many people had died right there. It's just crazy.
Especially, I think Americans have a completely different view on when they travel to these places or like feeling, because Americans come from like the newest settlement in the world. Like we grew up in a place where our state was founded like 100 years ago.
Not that long ago.
Like not 100, but like not that much more than 100. And then we're standing in these cities that have been here way longer than Christopher Columbus coming here. Like,
yeah,
that is just different because...
Fuck you, Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, by the way, fuck you. It's just crazy because I mean, people in the UK, people in Asia, people in South America, like, they can walk around and go to places that are like, oh, this has been here for 1,000 years. Or this is where this person 1,000 years ago lived. Like, we don't have that.
I think that's part of why it feels so important to me.
Yeah.
And I kind of like force that thought on other people too, of like why you need to travel
How
out of America to give you that perspective. I think we have always been like a little bit more open-minded to it generally. Like, obviously we talk a lot of shit about America. So, but the people that think that this is just like the best place in the world, like, no, go somewhere else.
Go somewhere else.
And go see what they did thousands of years ago.
Like,
thousands of years ago.
Learn something, open up your mind.
How do they
experience
function
other cultures
before all of, yes.
Like, it's really, I think, the most important thing for people from anywhere in the world is to experience other cultures and meet people from other cultures. Like, I genuinely think it's the most important thing.
Yeah. As a teacher, the coolest kids you meet
are the ones that traveled.
Yeah.
I mean, look at us, though, because we never traveled growing up. And look at us now.
Good for us. Yeah, what did happen to us?
Obviously, it's not easy for you to get up and go to Europe. It's not that accessible. But I think making it a priority.
We get it. We save for years of time.
Yeah, it's not like we're rich and travel whenever we want. It's just so much of a priority for us that we mindfully save for travel because it's that important. Like, I'm not waiting till I'm 65 to see the world.
No.
I think that's the stupidest American thing I've ever heard in my life. It doesn't make any sense.
Also, why would I do that?
And then when you retire.
I'm 27 years old and I'm traveling and I'm like, my back hurts.
We're like laying with our feet raised in the air, taking turns, pushing on each other's like pressure points because we're in pain and we're 27. Like, what am I going to do when I'm 60?
We have bad knees and bad backs.
Yeah, we were dancers and cheerleaders, so our bodies are fucked up. But, like,
still. So now you want me to wait until I'm, like, decrepit?
No. I'm going now, and I don't care what you boomers think about, how can you afford that? Well, how can you fucking, like, you grew up in
Maybe if you didn't fuck up the economy for me.
Yeah, don't get me started on that, because, like, let's go back to it, because we're tangent again.
Yeah, major tangent. So we went to the castle. The castle was amazing.
Yeah, so the castle was amazing.
And then at a certain point, we were like, ooh, actually, like, we got to get out of here.
We got to go put our jerseys on.
Yeah. We had a firm timeline, because the match wasn't until, what, like 7? But we wanted to go early.
Maybe
and
even
get
a little
spot.
Later. 7:30. Yeah.
Maybe it was 8.
But we got to the bar at like 5. We wanted to get there early enough to get a table or a spot or something.
And it
I don't know,
worked out so perfect, because when we got there, it was actually still pretty empty. Like,
yeah, there wasn't that many people there.
Very surprised by that. There was little like standing
barrel tables.
Yeah. So we walked up to
these.
We walked up to these 2 girls that were standing at a table, and there wasn't plenty of space. Like, I feel like there was someone.
Yeah,
or 2
if there was an empty
table,
we would have just gone to the empty table, but wasn't.
There wasn't. So we went up to these 2 girls and asked, like, if we could share the table with them.
Do you mind? We're just gonna like set our drinks here. We weren't even trying to like necessarily get into their space or anything. We just wanted to share the space, and they were super chill and
they were really cool. They both went to uni there.
Yeah, and then we ended up vibing and hanging out with them actually, and kind of becoming quick friends. They like literally had their bags with their laptops because they're in grad school and they were working on their theses. Is that the plural? Thesi. So we just like hung out with them for a while, and then all of a sudden, like, it fills up quick. Like,
it was like you blinked, and all of a sudden now it's.
We also got double pints. They were literally the sizes of our heads. Like, we have pictures.
I have
with
such a large head. Like, do you know what? That's such an accomplishment.
Massive. It was crazy. And then pretty soon, we're kind of like eyeing the crowd. Like, okay, there are cute people here. Like, really cute people.
We're talking to these girls too. We're like. We're on holiday.
We're on the prowl. We're on the prowl. We're trying
to have fun.
Yeah.
Flirt it up.
And whoa, the buffet looked real good. Sorry. Sorry if you feel objectified.
I was thinking of that too. Yeah, so we're looking. First, that really drunk guy, what was his name again? James comes up to the table.
He'd wasted no time coming up.
He wasted 0 time.
I love the UK. You just stand at a table and they come to you.
Ugh.
Like, ugh.
And James is like super drunk.
He's fucked.
Yeah.
It's like so early at this point. It's like 5:30. Like,
yeah.
We're not even close to the game.
Yeah.
We're on our
I
first
having
train.
that thought. I was like, oh, homie's
Damn.
in trouble. You're not even going to remember the match.
Yeah.
He
was very forward. Asked for Instagrams like pretty quick.
Yeah.
And
at first he was like fun drunk guy, and then I was like, okay, I'm kind of over you.
Yeah.
But he kind of introduced us to the Navy crowd.
Yeah.
So come to find out, this whole bar is filled.
Literally half of the bar
people from the Royal Navy.
Is the Royal Navy. So many of them. Like, so there's a port like 45 minutes outside of Edinburgh. So
also 45 minutes. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. So they all like came into town for the match. And so we're like, oh, and we're not like military girls. Like I'm not, that's not something that I'm like, ooh, American military.
But when you see the Royal Navy,
it's a little different.
Oh, and that's what it was. James was like talking to you.
Yeah.
And I was, at this point, I'm like kind of over it. And he did something really obnoxious, and I like made eye contact with Nathan.
Oh.
And another guy.
Oh.
And I can't remember what I mouthed, but I mouthed like,
ooh la la?
No, something about James, like
he's gonna call
like,
clock.
okay,
he
this
needs
is
to
like,
go. Like,
yeah, I was like, this is a lot, or something like that. And I don't even know if I knew that they were friends at the time. It just was like they were looking over there, and I was just venting.
And I pretty quickly spot this tall, dark-featured, light-eyed.
Mariah literally were like scanning the room, and she's like, that one. I want that one.
I want that one. It's crazy. I don't know if this is manifestation or if like people just feel energies and like things. Sometimes you get lucky and things click. Yeah. Sometimes you are looking across the room and spot someone, and they look across the room and spot you, and it works. That's not always the case, but sometimes it happens, and I'm not complaining. Tonight it happened. I had, this point...
They both were like, I want
mine.
This one. Right, I fancied the shit out of him.
I did. But this is like earlier on, and I'm like, okay, I spot you. I'm not going to do anything yet. I'm just like, that's who I'm locked in with.
It was getting close to kickoff.
Already?
Yeah. At this point, yes. No. I remember being like, well, the match is going to start, and then we're not going to be able to talk to people. It was getting close.
Close, but not that close, because we had talked for so long before it started. Probably like at least 30 minutes still.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So like
close in the sense of we've been there for hours.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy how quickly the time went
by. It really is, yeah.
But then how did George just...
Well, George came up first.
Yeah. Did he just walk up?
This is a different George. This is Navy George.
Yeah. So she had Spain George.
Hi.
George. Boomer, and Navy George.
So Navy George comes up before you even see Kieran, I think. And I just like, I kind of friend zoned this man pretty immediately. I was like, oh, he's just like this sweet guy. Came up
he was
like
so sweet.
Yeah, he didn't
waste any time.
No.
To buy us drinks.
And I don't know. Well, he was kind of shy-ish.
But he wasn't that shy, because he literally walked in between you and me, stood in between us and was like, hey, and was like, what are you drinking? And we told him, and he was like, okay. And he literally walked to the bar to get drinks.
He wasted no time.
No time. We were like, oh, okay. Like, that's another difference with the American guys versus guys over there.
Yeah, they want to talk to you for a bit and see if you're even worth buying a drink.
Like, is it worth it? Am I going to get laid? No, he just wanted to buy us a drink.
Yeah.
Like, and, like, both of us, it wasn't just like, oh, I'm into Kaylee, I want to buy you a drink or whatever. It was like, no, I'll get you both a drink.
Yeah.
Okay.
So George is hanging out, and I'm just like, oh, George is just like this sweet guy. Like, we made a friend, woo. And
always down for friends.
And then that's when all the guys came up and someone asked you to take their picture.
So one of the guys, because it was like, we're standing here, the screens are literally everywhere. We're at the barrel table still. There's bars along the side, and all the Royal Navy are along there, and huge group behind us. So we're like kind of surrounded by these guys. And one of the guys was like, hey, can you take a picture of me and my friends? I'm like, yeah. Kieran was like in this photo. Kieran's the guy that I'm into. And so I'm like, yeah, of course. So I take a photo for them, and they're like, thanks. And then I go to turn around. But then, like, Kieran was like, wait, can you also, like, take one of my phone? I'm like, oh, of course. And I would love some clarification.
Yeah, Kieran, I want to know, was that a move?
Was this a line?
I think it was a move. So can you let us know?
I want to know if it was a move or if it just, like, worked out this way. But he asked me to take a photo on his phone. And then, like, when he came back to get it, he never left.
He never left.
He never left. It just, like, led into us exchanging information. We were talking about each other's, like, names. We were talking about Scottish names. Like, all of a sudden we're talking and we never stopped. And it felt really nice.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
He, like, marked his territory real quick.
So hot.
This whole night is that one Sabrina Carpenter song. Juno?
No. I'm not
No, I quoted a different one earlier. What was the...
Bedchem was this night for me.
Oh, yeah.
Listen to Bedchem, Kieran, and then get back to me.
Oh, yeah, Bedchem was that night for
He did have a white jacket. It wasn't
He's
on,
the cute
but
boy
it was
with
wrapped
the white
around
jacket and the thick accent.
Like, oh my God, literally, Kieran. Okay. He moved quick. Like, it was like, oh, I'm yours. Okay, cool.
No, literally, like, arm around her, resting his head on her, his chin on her head, like, kissing her head. I was like, oh. He wants everyone to know. Like,
this is mine. Which is like, give it, yes.
Yes.
Please, this is great.
And at this, like, maybe I'm just oblivious. I don't know.
George was very obviously into Kaylee, and she had no idea.
Okay, so I am oblivious.
Yeah, it was super obvious.
You have to be very, like, straight up with me. You gotta give me some pretty clear signals. Yeah. So apparently George is into me at this point. But he's not like he's not doing anything about it. I'm still scanning the room.
She's still on the prowl. She's like, "Where's mine?"
Yeah. Well, and I had my eye on this tall guy at a table behind us, and we kept making eye contact. We made eye contact the whole night. Wow. Why is that so fun?
It's so fun.
So the match starts, and this is crazy. Again, so different than American culture in the way of, like, they're playing the national anthems, and it's just like the whole bar, the whole pub is just going insane. Yeah. It's so loud.
The energy was crazy. It was so fun.
Yeah.
Ugh. I'm not like drunk, but I'm like drunk at this point.
I've got like a good buzz.
Yeah. I'm like feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
Like this is nice.
So the match is happening. Navy George is really into the match. Like, England is his team. Life. Yes. He's emotionally invested.
And Kieran is Scottish, so he's rooting for Spain.
So fair, though.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, fair enough.
Respect.
While I'm wearing an England jersey, are you okay? Yeah. He's like, you'd look so much better with the Scottish jersey.
Remember when we said we really wanted these jerseys?
Yeah, they work.
So it's like the four of us are hanging out, but...
And Kieran had said to me, he was like, okay, how about we make a deal? If Spain scores first, you kiss me. If England scores first, I kiss you. And I was like, okay, deal.
So smart.
And I loved it because I'm like, yes, play a game with me. Like, I want it to be fun and, like, flirty. And, like...
Spain scores, and I would say the bar was pretty 50-50 of, like, who was supporting who.
Yeah.
So the whole bar goes crazy. Beers all over the place. At some point, I start talking to Nathan, who's that guy I, like, had mouthed something to earlier about James being annoying. And I'm talking to, like, literally just exchanged names or whatever, and this girl comes up, and I get more context about this girl later on in the night, but she comes up and she's so drunk and she's like, oh my God, Nathan's just the best guy. And oh my God, you should kiss him right now. And I'm like,
such a pick-me is crazy. Not a girl's girl.
No. That's exactly what it is. You can just tell, like, not a girl's girl. You can tell really quick
if you're not a girl's girl.
And later on, well, I already know based off the vibes, Nathan's not a good guy. Nathan's not a good guy.
Nathan's a fuckboy.
Nathan is a fuckboy. He's giving fuckboy energy. And you know what? I was okay with that. I'm not going to date Nathan. I literally was just, like, looking for a fun, flirty situation during the match. Right. That's all that mattered. You can be a fuckboy. That's fine.
Also, Kieran had told me about this girl, and she used to have, like, this situationship with this guy in the group, and that ended, and he's dating this new girl now. they are like, she's there. The new girl is there. But this girl, the situationship girl, the annoying one, they're like taking pictures together and they're all over each other. I'm like, this is shady as fuck. Like, this is weird.
Again, not a girl's
This is weird.
girl.
Like, he's dating someone and you're acting like that. That's crazy. If it was me,
you need to respect that boundary. Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm staying far away.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna go near them. Why would I do that?
Let them do their thing.
Before you and Nathan kind of like kicked it off more, that's when Kieran and I went inside to get more drinks.
Yeah.
And then like some
that's when I started talking to him. So you guys had left, and then that's when I started talking to Nathan.
Yeah.
And so you're going to get us all more drinks, and then Nathan offers to buy me a drink. So now we're off at the bar.
They're at the bar outside.
Outside.
We're at the bar inside. And Kieran and I, it's like weird. It's weird. I don't know if it's a holiday thing, how things move so quick, or if it's a UK thing. Like, I don't know, or European thing. But like, we're at the bar like we've been dating at this point. Like, and maybe if you're from the UK or European, like, that you wouldn't think that because maybe it's just more normal.
Yeah.
But here it's not like that. It doesn't move that quick.
Here, I mean, it moves
quick.
I don't really do it's very hard to do the flirt at the bar, like whatever. Like, and I would never do the hookup thing here in America anyway, so I guess I don't know how that lends itself.
True.
But
I just feel like people here are like, let's go, let's leave, let's go.
Yes, exactly.
And when we came back out to the spot, you and Nathan were still at the bar.
Yeah, and we're in the middle of ordering drinks, and then all of a sudden, like, this beer comes out of nowhere and hits me, and he was like, he got really riled up about that, and was like, I'm sorry, like, I wouldn't normally do this, but I have to, like, whatever.
Yeah.
And some Spain fan was like all up in their friend's face, and they were like on the verge of a fight, and then Kieran comes out of nowhere.
I remember Kieran being like, sorry, I'll be right back, I have to take care of this.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, because I didn't know what was going on over there.
Yeah, which Kieran did it in a hot way. Nathan, I think it's just because I already knew he was fuckboy energy. I was like, this is such a turn off, but I'm just ignoring it. But Kieran did it in a like, that's my mate, like, I gotta go. Not like he wanted to fight. He just was like, I need to protect my friend and make sure everything's okay. Yeah. So they both come out of nowhere and they're like trying to break this up, and the Spain guy goes away. And then we get our drink and we come back to we're literally in the middle of everything. Our table's right in the middle.
It's like when you're at a festival and you have to like hold each other's hands to get out of the crowd. It's that busy.
Yeah. So we're back at the table.
Which now 1 million people are using at this point.
Oh, 1 million people, yes. We're all hanging out. I'm chatting with Nathan. And at this point, somewhere in there, Nathan and I have kissed.
Yeah, you guys kissed.
And then that's when
Kieran had talked, or no, George came up to me and Kieran and was like, mostly to me, he's like, I don't think Kaylee should be talking to Nathan. Like, he's not a good guy. I don't trust him with her. Like, this
which is so funny because come to find out, they're like best friends.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I obviously will tell her because why wouldn't I? Like, I don't know. I don't know Nathan.
When she tells me, I'm like, well, yeah,
because I don't know Nathan. I hadn't spoke to him at all, so I don't know if it's obvious or if he's like kind of trying to be sneaky or whatever. So I pull you over and tell you, and you're like, yeah, like I figured. And I'm like, okay. So I talked to Kieran, and he's like, it's because George likes Kaylee. So it's all this like, they're fighting over her now, which they're best friends.
Well, in hindsight, I kind of feel like a bitch if it was that obvious that George was into me from the start.
I don't think like George would think it was obvious. I think maybe to the people on the outside of the situation.
The people that knew George.
Yeah. I think you said to me, well, he's going to have to make a move or something.
Yeah. I think what I said to you was, okay, well, what do I do now? Because I've already kissed Nathan.
Oh, yeah.
And then I also was like, George needs to make a move. Like, what? I'm not going to.
Yeah, and so I told Karen, I'm like, well, if George doesn't make a move, like, sorry, it's not going to happen. Like, he has to make a move. And what does George do? What's his first move?
George's first move is to, like, play with my pony.
Like, and pull on it like they're in 3rd grade.
No, you didn't pull on it. He was like flopping it around. Like, and I remember turning around and looking at you and being like, was that the move?
Was that the move?
Was that the move?
Okay, he's got to do something more. Like, come on.
And he did.
And he did.
Because England scores. And remember,
this was so good.
This man is like the world's biggest England fan.
Oh.
England scores, and he like grabs me, dips me, kisses me. I literally remember coming up and being like,
oh, that's the move. That's the move. That just sealed the deal.
Yeah.
I think Nathan probably knew that in there. Fuck. I'm out.
Did he though? Because now I'm being like actually physically tug of war.
No, literally, she's not
between
even
the
exaggerating.
two of them.
They both had her arms. Like, she actually was getting pulled in both directions. Like, actually crazy that this actually happened.
Which, can we just pause? Because I am only this way on holiday anyway. Like, bold enough to just even really, like, talk to guys.
Yeah.
To kiss one guy in a night is already, like, huh? For me. Two guys and, like...
Crazy.
Whoa. Who am I?
She's like, you guys figure it out.
At one point, I just was, like, getting tired of both of them being in my ear. And, like, I literally grabbed them and I put them together. And I was like, you figure it out.
George won.
Yeah. I don't know what they said. But
George won the prize.
Yeah. Maybe George comes up to me and I'm like, oh, okay.
Winner.
So it's settled. Winner.
At this point, Kieran and I are like mom and dad. We're like,
they're literally mom and dad,
together. Yeah. Like, we haven't stopped touching each other this entire time. I feel like I had a crush on him, like, right when I saw him. I was like, I have a crush on you. It's not even like, oh, I want your clothes off right now. It was like, oh, I actually could like you.
It was like, oh, I'm smitten. Like, I'm blushing.
Like, I'm actually blushing over this guy. And he was so fucking tall. Like,
he was very tall, yeah.
have never been a height person. Like, I've never really cared. This trip opened my eyes to the world of tall men. I had never really
Both of us now.
That. Whoa.
Maybe George was not tall, but Boomer,
yeah. And that's kind of how Kieran was for me, was that, like, we're standing, like, at my back to him, and my head doesn't even, like, go to his shoulders. Like, I can just lean onto his chest and watch the game like this while he's, like, all the way above me. The game went by pretty quick.
It did, yeah. George loved he was obsessed with my jersey, so like every once in a while he would like kiss the patch. He'd kiss the patch. He was so into the whole, like, squeezing the shit out of my hand, like freaking out.
Yeah.
After they scored
Spain.
Or no, after England scored, I remember him being like, I might cry. I was like, oh.
He was, yeah. And then Spain won. And when Spain won,
oh my God.
All hell broke loose. I was standing there with a beer in my hand right when they won. Like, it wasn't like everything dropped. It was like I got thrown back and everything went up in the air. We are drenched, literally drenched in beer. Like, my hair's wet. My eyes are burning because it's in my eyes. Like, the barrel tables get knocked over, glass broken everywhere.
I'm horrified for those girls' laptops. I don't know what happened.
I don't know how they survived with their laptops. Like, that's crazy.
We're literally both just, like, fighting for our lives to not fall over.
And the girl, the pick-me girl.
Like, people are moshing.
They're moshing. The pick-me girl goes, guys! And, like, flings her hand around, sliced open from the glass. She's, like, waving it around at us. Like, guys, look, like, in our faces. Her blood goes everywhere. I now, which our jerseys are clean, don't know how.
I don't know how.
Not only are we drenched in beer from head to toe, now we're covered in her blood. What the fuck?
Not me. I got lucky, but she.
Oh, you didn't get any blood on you?
I don't think I had any blood on me.
Oh, I had blood on my jeans, on my shirt. Like, I got blood on places. Like, that's disgusting.
Yeah, that's really gross.
But then we decided to, like, keep the night going.
Oh, the boys very quickly were like,
next.
Like, grabbed our hands, like, where are we going next?
Couldn't get into one place because we had jerseys on, and they don't allow jerseys for obvious reasons. Same shit here.
Well, first we tried. I switched my jersey inside out.
I put on Kieran's jacket.
They still weren't into that. And then we went to Hive. Because we were like...
Well, we went to another place and took a shot. And then
you're right. Hive. Yeah, we went to, like, a casual kind of, like, cocktail
We're in there for, like, 5 minutes, took a shot, and then went to Hive, which was, like, a club, but it was dead.
It was dead. We were like, we want to dance.
And there was all these little rooms, dance floors. The drinks were like €2. So we were like, you know what? Insane. Like, it doesn't really matter if anyone's here or not. We're going to, like, make anything fun.
No, honestly, I was so into it.
It was such a vibe. And we had boyfriends.
Yeah. Literally, they're our boyfriends at this point. We're, like, holding hands, walking down the street. Like, casual kisses, not even like making out necessarily,
like
just
kissing.
like, yeah.
Oh, it was so fun. And we get like cheap drinks, we dance. So we're hanging out and we like leave at one point to try to go to another place. It's not just us four. We were still with a few other people from the Navy. A lot of them wanted to leave. Obviously, our boys didn't want to leave. They were like, well, there's really nowhere else to go. Let's just go back in the Hive. So we go back in the Hive, hang out there more. Kieran is like, obviously, he's like, can we go back to your hostel?
Sneaky little fucker.
He is. So we got some conversations we might have to have, but he's like, let's go back to your hostel. I'm like, we literally can't. One, they don't allow guests in, and we have roommates. What are we gonna do?
Yeah,
like there's literally no option to go back there. We can't go to the ship. We can't go to the ship, and it's 45 minutes away. So the only option is public place if you want to hook up. So Kieran's like, I know a spot, let's go. And I'm like, okay, Kaylee and George. She's like, okay, I'll text them and tell them where we are, and they'll meet us. And I'm like, okay.
George and I are totally oblivious to this. We're just like dancing the night away.
And I'm like drunk and obsessed with this man. I'd probably follow him anywhere, which is like crazy because I could have gotten killed and sex trafficked. But
yeah, really could have.
Really could have. So we start walking, and I'm like, oh, okay, like, are they coming? He's like, yeah, I'm texting George. Like, they're coming. And I'm like, cool.
To my knowledge, never was George. I think
you're right. I don't think
Kieran ever texted George.
I don't think Kieran ever texted George. They had no idea, which is really actually fucked up. Like, yeah, that's not cool. Actually,
especially because like our one rule when we travel is like we don't separate.
And I think maybe we're going around the corner. Like I think we're kind of staying in the vicinity, and then we're walking, and I'm like, oh, okay. But I get swept up in the moment. We're like holding hands. We're walking down the city. The lights are everywhere. There's like no one around. It was so romantic. And he's like telling me about Scotland and telling me about like his pride for his culture and telling me about the issues. And then he's explaining to me what every building is. And I'm like, what's that one? And he's like, oh, that is blah, blah. And I'm just like one, you know, I'm a fucking history nerd.
Way to her heart.
I'm a fucking nerd overall too. So like, oh, you're just gonna just like speak about this nerdy shit to me? Like I am obsessed. Like I don't even know how long we were walking. I don't even know where we were going. I was so swept up in the moment. Then we end up going to the park that like sits below the castle. It's this massive park, and they close after a certain time with like these spiky fences. And it's like, okay, it's fine. We're gonna climb the fence. I literally have like a hole in the bottom of my shoe because my shoe got stuck in the spike at one point. But then we like walk through this park and ...
And ...
It was really fun. It was right below the castle. The lights were shining. We were like under this tree. It was romantic and really, 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 really fun. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
And then now George and I are like, wait, where did they go?
Yeah.
So I'm texting Mariah. Thank God we both got eSIMs at this point. Because we were actually able to talk.
That wouldn't have been able to happen if we didn't.
Yeah. So I'm texting her and I'm like, wait, where did you guys go? And I don't remember like
I said like come here and sent the location of the park.
You sent the location. So we started walking.
And I'm thinking, oh God, they're gonna show up at any second. I'm thinking they're like have already been on their way for a while and then you guys are gonna show up. That never happened.
We're just leaving.
That did not happen.
The club. And George and I are walking and walking, and it's like the more we're walking, the more the two of us are getting annoyed.
Yeah.
And now George is like anti meeting up. He's like, well, let's go back to the hostel. Let's do this. I'm like, we literally cannot go back to the hostel.
It's park, park or nothing at all. Like, I don't know.
They like both were
really pushing the hostel. It's like, no, it's actually not an option.
It's, I'm not just saying that.
We could walk, like, fuck, let's walk in and, like, let me show you.
I literally did with George. I was like, see, look.
Like, you can't.
So we're walking and walking. We finally, like, get to this point, and we realize that now they're, like, down below. And that's when we were like, fuck that. We're not doing that. And then we basically were like, okay, well, what are we going to do? We're both like, you know, you're just, like, you've been removed from the euphoria. Mm-hmm. So now we're kind of like, okay, well, there's nowhere for us to go together. He's like ready to go home. I'm by the hostel now. So he called an Uber. We separated. I texted her. I was like, fuck you. I'm going to bed.
She's like, fuck you. And then bitch or something. I was like, fuck. Like, this is not great. Like, and I didn't even confront Karen, but I am right now.
I am right now.
So, yeah, he walked me back to the hostel. We said goodbye. Well, actually, I was like, I don't like goodbyes. He was like, we don't have to say goodbye. I'm like, okay.
Okay, perfect.
Go back into the hostel. I don't realize this yet. I am covered in leaves from head to toe. Like, it's all up in my hair. My hair's fucked. There's leaves. It's like a bird's nest in there. I don't realize. I haven't looked in a mirror. I'm not looking cute right now. I go up to
Karen, you should have told her.
I, like, check in, because you have to, like, check in when you enter and exit the hostel. So I go up there and I'm like, hey, like, I think I had to exchange my passport to get back up or whatever.
We had to swap our passports for our keys.
And I'm like, I don't realize till, like, the next morning, my bed is literally covered in leaves. And, like, I think I was picking leaves out of my hair for the next day.
Yeah, we wake up, and when I got up, she was in the bathroom or something. She was gone. And at this point, I'm like, still annoyed. We haven't spoken yet, but I stand up, and I see all the fucking leaves in her bed. And I'm not annoyed about, like, her night. You know, I'm still, because the more I hear about the night, I'm like, that's so fun. Like,
it was one of the best nights ever.
And
it was annoying.
So I'm, like, annoyed with her, but I look at her bed and I see all the leaves and I, like, can't help but laugh. I'm like, this is funny as fuck.
I gotta take
And I, like, had to take a video. I was like, I may be annoyed now, but later.
Yeah. I was still in that, like, I want to see this guy again. Like, I'm not done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we were both kind of hoping that we'd be able to go get a drink.
But they literally had to work all day, and our flight was at, like, 6.
And they were 45 minutes away.
And we had no plans for the day except to explore the city more. And we did the Royal Mile. We went into more shops. We went into a museum. We went to the other castle at the end of the Royal Mile. It's like
we didn't get to go into that one.
Castles at each end. Found this little secret garden. It started to rain, which was, like, really cute. It was fun that we got to experience Edinburgh.
It was so fun
in the rain.
Yeah, everyone, like, got their umbrellas
Super
out right
cute.
away. We're like, we're from Oregon.
Sorry. Went to the cemetery where Tom Riddle's grave is.
A little underwhelming.
It was a little underwhelming. I really thought there was going to be, like, a statue with Tom Riddle.
You're, like, picturing the thing with, like, the Reaper.
I was picturing the Reaper,
where Harry gets...
Like, I knew it wasn't going to be that exactly, but I thought maybe something like that. But it was literally just a normal, like, gravestone that said Tom Riddle and a few other Riddles. But did that, and then we were like, we've seen the city. Went to Victoria Street again. We got brunch.
We had, like, we got a delicious brunch.
It was, like, this famous place. Oh, my God.
Yeah, again, had no idea it was famous.
It was, like, the second level on Victoria Street. It was up above. So we sat outside. We, like, waited to sit outside because that's a priority. And it, like, looked out over Victoria Street. It was really cute.
Yeah.
Got Bloody Mary.
And that's when we got to do, like, our little debrief.
Yeah, debrief on the night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Later that day, there was really nothing else to do but, like,
there was, like, 3 hours where we were like, what do we really do?
Which was fine.
So it was like we just walked, and then we stopped at a pub and had a pint. And then we, like, walked, stopped at a pub, had a pint.
And then it was really time to leave.
Yeah.
Did we miss anything?
Well, we get to the airport.
Oh.
And
yeah, we can end on this story.
We both go through security, and Mariah keeps getting stopped for liquids. It's like every time we go, her bag gets pulled for liquids.
And it's like my eyeliner, my mascara. This is liquid. I'm like, what the fuck? This is
never in my life have I been told mascara is
my deodorant,
liquid.
because it was a roll-on. They were like, yeah, this is liquid technically too. I'm like, okay,
what
the fuck? Every single thing is getting pulled out. Like, my whole makeup bag is pretty much liquid. This is crazy. I'm like, I've never in my life experienced this. I've also done a few plane jumps in Europe already and haven't had a problem, except for... Wait, was that the first time? No, that was the second time I had a problem. But she was like, you either have to throw away this stuff because it has to fit into that little bag, or you can go back out of security and check your bag. And I'm like, well, checking my bag at this point is cheaper
than throwing the stuff away, yeah.
All of this shit. And also, I still have Dublin, and I want my shit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, fuck. She, like, checks our flight. She's like, you have time. Go back out and check your bag. I'm like, okay. I'm like, Kaylee, stay here. I'll be back, I guess.
Yeah. I, like, hung on to one of her bags, and I just sat in security and waited for her.
I go out of security, go back down to to the baggage check, go up there, and I'm talking to the guy. He's like weighing my bag, and I'm like, fuck, do you take contactless payment? He was like, no. Fuck, I don't have a card because remember, we got robbed.
We've been robbed.
So I literally call Kaylee, and I'm like, okay, 1, they don't take contactless. I need your card. 2, I have like 5 minutes before they shut down checked bags for the flight. What the fuck? I don't think there's time to like run. I don't know what to do at this point. I'm like having a panic
She was going to like run up, and I was going to, so I went up to that same lady and was like, is it okay? Like I explained the situation. I was like, can I go to the very, very edge of security and like hand her my card?
And I would like have to sprint at this point to make the time.
And she's like, oh, well, give me the card. That's like, I can do that. And I'm telling Mariah that she can do it. And like, Mariah's like, okay, I'm running up there. And she's like, actually, no, just tell her to stay there. I'm coming to her.
The nicest woman on the planet. She literally made a situation that was so stressful and shitty into one that was okay. Like,
yeah.
It was still stressful, but like
she went so above and beyond.
She walked all the way fucking down to the check-in place.
I'm just like, here, take my credit card. Me, yeah. My only credit card we have left.
I pay to get my bag checked like 2 minutes before the time was up or whatever. She goes, okay, come. I'm thinking she's going to leave. No, she walks me. We get up to security, and she's like, oh, you're going to come with me. She lets me go through the employee side. I don't have to wait in line. And I also don't have anything at this point, so I don't really have to.
Yeah, I have all of... Yeah, I have the one bag, and then she just checked the other.
And she lets me go, like I get to cut a bunch of people in line, go quickly through security, and she just... I'm like, I'm going to cry. She's like, please don't. And I'm like, I want to hug you. And she's like, I guess. And I'm like, can I buy you? I want to buy you a drink. Like, I want to buy you a fucking bottle of whiskey at this point. Like, you literally, turned the situation into a good one. Like, I'll never forget her.
Yeah.
She was everything.
And we were both like, oh my God, thank you. Yeah. And she was like.
Basically, like, yeah.
Chill.
It's
yes. Take a breath.
We're American. And we're off to Dublin, which means we only have one more country left. I'm so sad.
Oh, but Dublin's good. Dublin's so fun.
And Dublin's probably going to be 2 parts because it was 5 days. And with the way we talk,
yeah,
it's going to be 2 parts. So probably 2 more travel episodes, TBD. But that was Edinburgh.
Yeah. We made up. We're not fighting anymore at that point, too.
Yeah. There really wasn't like...
It was never a fight.
It was just like, I'm annoyed. And yeah. It was
and then miscommunication was like, I'm annoyed, but then she didn't understand why I was annoyed because she didn't know that George.
Yeah, I was like, I don't get it. Why didn't you guys just come? Like, oh, because they never knew. Okay. And it was just, I got swept up too. I do that. I get swept up too much in the moment and throw everything out to the wind. What's that phrase? Throw it to the wind or whatever.
What is that phrase?
But there's more fights in our future, so just wait for that.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, the next one's, like, I don't think we've ever fought like we did in Dublin.
Yeah, we're not very, like...
We don't fight.
But we can and move on. We're that type of friends, but, yeah.
Yeah, but it's more like we'll have, like, a disagreement or, like, an annoyance.
Yeah, true. It's not like...
This was like, fuck you!
You'll have to wait and see! So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching the It's Time podcast. I'm Mariah. That is Kaylee. We have new episodes every Wednesday. Next week will be Dublin, our last country of this travel series. I know. I'm really sad. I don't want it to end. I guess we'll just have to travel more. Because I love providing you guys with some crazy stories and some tea.
Love it.
It's literally so fun.
We have so many more crazy stories this time than we did last time.
We have so many more this time. Each country has like a crazy moment. Dublin has a few. So, yeah. We'll see you next time. I was trying to think of what goodbye is in Scottish, but I don't know any Gaelic.
Karen.
Wait, is it Gaelic or is that Irish? No, that's Irish.
No, that's Irish.
Scottish is...
Karen.
Bye, Karen. Hopefully I'll see you soon. Stop by on the ship.
Fleet Week.
What's the Royal Navy song?
I don't know.
Cheers to the Royal Navy.
Cheers to the Navy.